see how this goes, if people can hear the sound after the phone's been fixed. Interesting. Maybe not. Another hot day today. 38. It's going to be cooler tomorrow. About 28. Big difference. Went to the big smoke in the city. Not very busy actually. Tuesday. Pretty quiet in the streets. Went to the Apple store. They've pulled out all the junk in the phone. So that was good. Then we went to a secret location. We got something for some people. The boss is coming. I can hear a clumping through the house. Just a clumping. Hello, Adam. Bet it's cold where you are. It's been bloody hot where we are. But it's okay. This time of year we expect the heat. But the poor old chippy, he's been suffering. Worked half a day yesterday and half a day today. Totally drenched with sweat. Very tough. But we got the toilets installed. The pedestal basins are installed. Shower heads are installed, so I just put a video up of that. 34F, bright sunny, that sounds good to me. Snow is going away. Adam says bright and sunny, but freezing still.
Remember when you do a live stream, YouTube, your chat doesn't stay as long as...
No. Adam, can I just ask you, because I've had this phone fixed today, the sound, how is the sound? Is it clear? Because this is through YouTube. I've been doing live streams through Streamlabs, but through YouTube I couldn't do because there was just this white noise all the time. I think it's working okay. Good, sounds great. Yeah, when I went to the Apple store today, they used the old blue tack trick. Then this guy got what looked like a paper clip, but had a pointy bit on the end of the paper clip. He dug around in where you put the cable, and it's like belly button flint came out, or lint. There's a bit of wind actually. You're probably hearing a bit of wind. It's definitely a lot cooler tonight. Oh, that's good. So he fixed it. He actually had a diagnostic thing that they plugged the phone into, and it said, yes, there is a problem. So he went away, did what he did, then he came back and he did the digging out and ran the diagnostics again, and it said all good. It's rolling tobacco. I don't know if you'll see it. I should lift it up. Like that, it's loose. But not like pipe tobacco. But it's getting very expensive. We asked what discount would he give us for my iPhone 7. It's 256 gig. That's got a lot of memory. And he did the punching on the computer and said, yep, we can give you $120 for that. I said, well, you're not having it, we'll just keep it. When we travel overseas, we'll take it with us. Pay $1,400 for that phone, or this phone, 2.5 years ago. And today they're willing to give me 120. Not good. And the girl said when she was getting, because we bought 2 new phones, iPhone 8 Plus, so they're bigger, which is good for me. But the girl said, oh, you can take Apple Care out if you like. And I said, what does that mean? She says, well, if you break a screen, it'll only cost you like $30 to replace it. And I said, what is it normally? She said, $254. I said, okay, what's the cost of the Apple Care? She says, $199. So I said, don't worry about it. Yeah, all electronics do not hold their values. They said with these new phones, and they're about $1,000 each, but she said, oh, if it gets run over by a truck or it doesn't work, we just give you another one for $500. That's not too bad, but it's like, they seem to make a lot of money all the time. Well, Apple's so big. But it's a done deal now, but we'll use this phone on and off. Now we're to go down by covers. My first phone, Adam, I was surveying. And I used to wear shorts, t-shirt, a hat, boots. And my phone, g'day Rujex, used to pull my pants down. It was so damn heavy, like a brick. And how you used it, you turned it on, and in between me and a guy running a level around, we would talk to each other. We used to just stick our hand up, meaning that we're going to use the phone. Talk for about 10 seconds, turn the phone off, because it had a battery life, even though it weighed a brick, a battery life of 20 minutes. And your pants were always falling down because it was so damn heavy. Yeah, I never enjoyed that. Yeah, I remember the bag ones, but mine was a brick. You know the ones I'm talking about that wide, and that long, a little air on top of it. It lasted 20 minutes. Brand new phone. God knows what it cost. The company bought it. I didn't have to pay for it. Lots of things have got cheaper. I mean, you get a plan. We've got a plan with a company called Kogan, and it's about $12 a month, 40 gig, all the data you want, etc. So that's got a lot cheaper. Whereas things like televisions, they've also got a lot cheaper. You can buy a 75-inch telly, all the wings and dings, high definition, 4K and all that, $1,100. My first television was 48 centimetres or 20 inches, and it cost me $1,000. You could buy a very nice second-hand car when I bought my first television for $1,000. And now they're as cheap as chips. But iPhones, they just get more expensive. I looked at the iPhone 11, I pay $75 for 10 gigs. That's terrible. That's awful, rejects. We've got to do new plans for our phone, and we can't get the old price, but we're getting a fair price. It's a different plan. It's for a year, 365 days. What do we work out? About 20 gig a month for about $15, something like that. But iPhones, Apple, charge. But the thing is, like I say, my old iPhone 7 here,
You better click right on, not on yet.
I have never owned a cell phone. Oh, okay. Canada cell phones suck. When we come there, we're just going to take this old iPhone 7 with us when we travel, and I'll probably take the other phones for, Wi-Fi talking to family and whatever, but this one is the one we can call people on. We'll just buy a cheap SIM plan for Canada when we're there and a cheap SIM plan for the US when we're there. Motorola G4 something. What's being pushed here is 5G. It's not in our area, but soon you'll be getting 5G internet wireless for your house. It's only about, I think, $85 a month for 200 gig at the moment, but that'll come down. It'll be unlimited shortly. So we did get 2 new phones. They're called iPhone 8 Plus, which means they're bigger. And my old eyes can read better. We were only going to get me one, and I said to the missus, you get one as well. She said, okay. On YouTube, these messages fade real quick. I'll buy a USA one and get the North American quality much cheaper. Never buy a self-service. So will a self-service plan prepaid work if I get it in the US? I can call Canada. Is that what you're saying? Oh, that's what we'll do. As we get close, I'll ask you. Because, like I say, we only probably want a month's plan. Sounds good? Just to call people. Say, hello, we're here if you want to catch up. If not, that's fine. The thing with iPhones, if someone else has got an iPhone, you don't need a plan at all. You just need to get Wi-Fi, wherever in a cafe or your hotel, and you can just FaceTime them. Cost you nothing. No plan. But not everybody has iPhone, of course. Want to say hello?
Hello, I'm not on my phone. So many plans to decide from. I missed that.
Yeah, it fades
I was a
quick,
bit
doesn't it?
tired. Busy day today.
Verizon. Okay, I'll remember that. Verizon.
Put it back on here.
Yeah, that sounds good. See, most of the time, wherever you stay, you've got free Wi-Fi because you pay for the room, you get the free Wi-Fi. So all over Europe, Scotland, Ireland, Germany, just use Wi-Fi, and then we could contact the kids. Hello, Buttercup. Dogs need to wear. Yeah, 50 sounds good. That's that strange paper money in America, isn't it? Where all the monetary notes look the same. Not like Canada and Australia where we put a bit of colour in there. Let's be honest, Rujex. You've got colourful currency, so have we. Years ago, a mate of mine went to the US and he says, I know I lost $100. I thought I gave someone $1. He gave them 100. They obviously just said smile and thank you. Looking at airfares the last couple of nights, some weird, we can fly from Perth to Frankfurt, and then from Frankfurt to, say, New York. Business class is about $3,000 each, which is pretty good. If you go a different route, it comes up $6,000. So you really got to do your research. I mean, if we flew from Perth to Frankfurt and then US, we'd spend a couple of weeks in Germany, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
scoot across to Wales. Yeah, lassie. But Canada, like Australia, is big. So we probably will be concentrating in the Golden Circle on the northeast coast, Quebec, all those areas. Boston to Melbourne, 1200 American. Is that return? See, I can fly to the US and back for 900 if I wanted to. If I wanted to sit like this, 900 bucks. Of course, I'd have to spend a week in hospital either side. That's good. 1200. That's 1200 US, so that would be. It's still pretty high. It's about 1800 Australian dollars
Or
from Boston to Melbourne. And if you landed in Melbourne, you'd only be 4,500 kilometres away from me then.
who's
Yeah.
going to Melbourne?
No, Adam was just saying he
Oh.
did a check online. Big country, Australia. What I would do if I came to Australia, I'd come here first, West Australia, because it's beautiful. And there's so much to see and do of natural beauty. And then I would probably do a little hop skip. I'd probably fly to Adelaide, then Melbourne, then go to Sydney, and then leave Sydney to fly back to the US. Yes, they're all capital cities, but you haven't got enough time to check out the country. It just varies every hour or so, Adam, because planes fill up and different days of the week are cheaper than others. There's a site called Sky Scanner. It's all one word, Sky, and then Scanner. And you just punch in where you want to fly out of to where you want to go, but you get a choice. It'll show the calendar. It'll have little yellow marks under some and green marks under and red. Now, if you look down the bottom, it'll tell you that yellow is really cheap, green's not bad, but red's pretty expensive. Boston to Perth, Delta, 1200. That's pretty cheap. That's obviously economy though. Or sitting on the wing, or in with your baggage. They have a thing called premium economy. You got economy, premium economy, business, and then really stuffy-nosed posh people on first class. I've seen the first class cabins. They're like little rooms. You have a chair, big bed, and knock gently on the door. Just checking your old phone, see if it would bounce. Slippery.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I went out again with the grandson.
How tall are you, Adam? That's always the first thing you got to think about. Frugal's good. Frugal's good in my book. If we did a hop, skip and a jump where we went to say 3 or 4 countries and spent a few days in each, I could put up with 5 hours in economy. Wouldn't like it, but I could put up with it. But not for 24, 25 hours. 6'2", that's still pretty big. I'm 6'5". You sometimes get what they call near the wing seat, you know, the exit points. You get a bit 4 inches, isn't it? We worked out once.
Yeah,
About 4
a bit
inches.
more than that.
Or you get the ones right at the front. There's some website you can go to that tells you each airliner's leg space. But we've flown Singapore Airlines quite a lot, and they're really good. They're really comfortable. I mean, I can sleep anywhere. So after a few hours of being awake on a plane and having a belly full of food, and going to the toilet and come back, put the bed out. And they usually put the bed out for you. That's all right, Buttercup. You had to take your bairn out for a wee. And they are your bairn. Yeah. I mean, I literally jam into a economy seat. And then you do the old one leg, you know, over to underneath the other seat. And you just alternate and do the same like that. Because if I put my knees together, I'm pushing the person in front, which is not pleasant for them or me. I mean, if airplanes would listen to my design, they'd just have like 3 big shelves all the way down the outside and really posh seats in the middle. Just one big seat all the way through. And just slide up onto a bunk like a train. Successful shopping trip? Yes. Not telling you any more. Yeah, you know when you put your foot just outside your space because you want a bit of room? Ka-dum, there goes the trolley. And they go, I'm sorry, sir, but I meant to do it because you annoyed me because you put your foot in the aisle. 13. Some shoes, 14. Yeah, it was very quiet today, Buttercup. That's one of the main streets in Perth, but it is a Tuesday, and all the kids are on holiday, and people are away on holiday, so it was a good time to go into Perth. But yeah, I used to do that in economy. You stick your leg out, and you just got to keep your ear out. Is that trolley coming? It was so bad once in economy, I had to lie down on the floor, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
I just cramped up something like unbelievable. Back, my legs, my knees. I should stuff it. So I lay down on the floor. Flight attendants come past, looked at me, didn't say a word. Buttercup says, Mystic, are you okay? You're a wee bit quiet.
Oh, yeah, I'm tired. We came back from the city, and then I didn't have long of a rest, and then I went out with the daughter and the grandson to a show called Operation Ouch. I don't know if you have heard it. It's an American thing. I think it's American.
Yeah, twins do fun stuff for kids.
Like medical and
Just
some disgusting things, but also, I don't know, telling you about what your snot does. And then they also touched on the subject. That's right. I mean, so
we walked around for a few hours, and it was hot. Well, we stopped fairly regularly, and we had a drink, had a couple of ciggies, just pull over under a tree. Because the thing about cities, they're actually hotter than people think, because all of a sudden you get no air, there's no wind.
That's because of the buildings.
And the buildings heat up, and the tarmac heats up. It's not a good day of remembrance. I'm not sure what's that referring to.
It's remembrance of the Holocaust, isn't it?
No, that was yesterday.
Oh.
Oh, it probably is there today, yeah. We had an Australian guy over, he goes over every year. He's now, I think he's 98. He took his son for the first time and explained all the things that day-to-day living. He would go out with a workforce of 500, and he'd always come back with a lot less. He said you lose 50 or 60 in a day, sometimes hundreds. They would just take them out in the field, shoot them, because they got more coming on the train. But I mean, that was horrendous, but throughout history there's been genocide. It's not been much different, to be honest. In recent memory, the Hutus and Tutus in Africa, hundreds of thousands slaughtered. Bosnia, Herzegovina, never stops. Humanity is by nature cruel, or can be. I haven't heard whether that person has the virus in Perth yet. He was highly suspected of having it.
Oh, that reminds me of the thing tonight at the Operation Ouch. They have, like, kids were allowed to ask questions, and this one kid asked their opinion on what's the latest.
The coronavirus.
This little kid asked about the coronavirus, because these two are doctors actually, and their answer was basically what you said, that it's going to get worse, but it is not as, how did you put it?
Well, the volatility of death is only 3%, which is still a lot of people.
Not as bad as Ebola.
Well, nowhere near as bad as Ebola. That's about 50%.
And these two guys said exactly the same thing. They said masks aren't going to help, but wash your hands. Don't have to do it every 5 minutes, but and the handshake now is this.
In Australia, the kids go back to school next week. there'll be a huge bump up shortly. SARS was worse as far as what they call a percentile death rate. Remember
yeah.
H1N1? That wasn't as bad as SARS, but every 5 or 6 years, if you Google, you'll see what I mean. Every 5 or 6 years on the planet, bacteria and viruses from animals transferred to other animals is normal, but transferring to humans is a bit more difficult. But when they do, the actual virus mutates.
And they
When
can
human to human can now spread it.
I reckon it's from bats, most of these diseases anyway.
See, China didn't take anywhere near the measures they're taking now with SARS at all. There's been all sorts of animals that have been involved, from bats to cats.
But this one is to do with
There's
bats,
one
I
called
reckon.
MER, which started off in Saudi Arabia, and that was from transferred the virus from bats to camels, and then obviously a lot of camel drivers, from camels to humans. No, not really. It wasn't due to rats at all. It was due to fleas. There's always the poor old rat copped a bit of a bad
Well, that's
thing
'cause
with
the
that, because
fleas.
the bubonic plague didn't happen just one time. It happened over centuries.
That's because the fleas attack the rats, and then the rats bit people.
Well, the Fire of London raged through the city of London, and they were in the midst of the bubonic plague. What happened is that a lot of rats got away, but fleas, not so lucky. So when the Fire of London went through, there was a massive drop in the disease. And of course, at the time, people just thought fire killed all the rats. The rats are clever. But rats are a carrier of disease. They can carry disease and not be affected, and so can humans. Famous monk, Buttercup might be able to help me out. I think he was from her part of the land, around Cornwall or Wales. He actually set up massive relief centres for people suffering from the plague, and you'd be dead within a day sometimes. Some you'd last longer, and he never got the plague, ever. But his bones were exhumed, and why they know it's a fact, because they tested. He had a gene that stopped him getting the plague. Humans also have the ability to adapt. Oh, I'm only repeating what I've read. I didn't write it. I stand with the soldiers of giants. Knowledge is passed down. Just if you can retain it, then you can remember it. Yeah, it was a famous monk. I forget what his name was, but he went all over the UK in the end. He helped set up how to clean your hands, and put your shit in a hole instead of leaving it on the path. Yeah, I should just turn the camera on and walk away for a few hours,
Right?
wax the wall.
I'll lay down and do it. You got to put
Yeah,
the
lie
camera on the
down.
floor. Yeah.
Wax like that. But we have toilets in the house now, and the basins are in, and the shower heads and taps are in.
Well, they can't be touched for 24 hours.
No. And until we get a hot water system down to the back area, it's all cold showers. Mind you, this time of year, it's not a big deal. The water's quite warm, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we've got a bit of a lull coming up in building because we're waiting for floorboards. It's holding up a lot of things. They don't go down, I can't put my kitchen in. Pain in the bum, but that's how it goes. It was the Malmesbury monk. Okay. He was very famous because a lot of people actually sort of were using the words witchcraft with him at one stage, which was very unfair. He was just immune. There were people during the Spanish flu, which killed more people than World War One, who were actually immune. Yeah, we got the decking boards, but not the floorboards. It's a case of the supply and demand. So we're being told could be coming at the end of this week or early next week, and then they get laid. And then we wait another few weeks to get sanded. And when they're sanded, they're then finished. We're not having a shiny floorboards. It might look shiny, but it'll be a matte finish. And when that's done, I can put my kitchen in, and my oven, and my sink, etc., etc. There's plenty of other work to do. I've got to put skirting boards down. Finish off, if you saw the video tonight of the doors and the architraves, they've got to be treated to sort of meld into a similar colour without being exactly. Plenty of work to do. No, often I've heard people suggest, Buttercup, that at his birth, keeping the placenta may have been a better preference. Throw the baby out, mate, we'll just keep the placenta. It's beautiful tonight, it's about 24, which is a heat wave in Wales, but it's cool. You're cold, aren't you?
I am, because I'm tired too.
Buttercup, Mystic's cold at 24 degrees.
I am. I've got a dressing gown on. It's a little bit humid though. I feel
Bit
it.
sticky,
Yeah.
But cool the next 3 days, all under 30 degrees, you little ripper.
I shall be going to bed shortly.
We were sitting on the bench outside Apple this afternoon, it was 38. But I know it sounds weird, but you get used to it, and we walked around for a couple of hours. The tourists couldn't have done it, but we're so used to it. In one way, I'm looking forward to winter. It's cooler, and I've got lots of little bits of pieces to do. So that'll be far more pleasant. Yeah, I imagine lots of shoveling going on. How is the roof, Adam? What sort of roof do you have? Is it pitch where you can just scrape it and pull the snow and ice off, or have you got a pain in the arse roof? Worst one with roofs is when it snows, of course, and then it rains, then it snows, and then it rains. You can have a lot of weight on the roof. Yep, that's good. Yeah, that's the problem. Clunk, clunk. But metal is far more easier to work with. Plus it tolerates a bit of a beating. It's like not many people have tin roofs in the US either. Don't know why. It'd be perfect. They prefer them slate things or tar things they stick on over boards. In Australia it's pretty simple. We've got tiles, and you either have that or tin or Colorbond, which is a painted steel, lasts for 150 years. Strong too. Some of the building codes in America we just couldn't do here. Just they wouldn't let you. It needs to be structurally sound, face a certain amount of wind force, etc. And we have building codes that are very rigid. £25 per cubic snow. Last storm we got was 16 inches. Shoveled my driveway. It's not too big, but the roof. Yeah, how you help each other. Yeah, that's how it goes. Oh, look, I mean, other than it being too hot for some North Americans, you'd love it here. White, sandy beaches. Everyone walks around in bikinis. Well, not the guys, because you'd notice that. Lots of different wildlife you've never seen in your life before. Food's great. Like I could take you out for a can of lunch. Only cost about $40. Big steak, chips, salad. Danny and I are on our way. Well, your room's nearly ready. The toilet's in there and your shower. I can't really start on the old windows and refurbishing them. I'm getting a guy who might put new sliders, like a rail, on the old windows. So that'll make it, actually they're not bad, but make it nice and smooth. I don't really want to start painting before he does that, because he'll just damage what I do. Not meaning to, but he would. So I might be able to do the outsides, you know what I mean? If I go around the outside, because that won't be affected, but the inside I can't really do. Oh, it's huge. Most people have what Americans call trucks. I've had them for years. I haven't got it now, but I used to have four-wheel drives. A lot of people like to pull a caravan or a trailer, as the Americans call it. But a lot of people have RVs as well. No, it's huge. I should do it one day. I should take you to one of the RV shows. Because you're not going to get American prices here. A brand new Winnebago could be 500,000 here. Between 3 and 500 is a good. I suppose you call it an A class if you like. The smaller ones like the B class, they'd probably be 200,000 or more new. But Aussies are pretty smart. They tend to just hire a hotel. Because you're British, you can stay 12 months. No problem. Only problem is, and we know one of the dogs might be around forever, but you can't quarantine for dogs is tough, 3 months. Travelling is fantastic. I mean, it's like food. All around the world food's a bit different, but it's got that different flavour. Even though it's something similar, like pasta, but it's different. And Chinese food is a bit different here. Do you know what I mean? Everything's similar. You'd be very comfortable in Australia. No one's going to shoot you. There you go. Like the UK, no one walks around with a gun, even to protect themselves, and accidentally goes off and they kill someone. Doesn't happen here. So you're very safe. We're pretty friendly mob in Australia. We always take the piss out of the Poms, but that's an in thing we've got with Poms and Australians. It's all in good nature until it comes to cricket. Then it's war. But there's certain things you could do. If you come to Australia, you can hire a good RV. Probably about $90 a day would get you a reasonable one. So it's not cheap. And then you got to pay, if you stay anywhere, you got to pay, be up to about $50 a day now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So at 140, 150 a day for the hire of the van and a space in a park, you might as well just stay in a good hotel. You know, have everything for about 120. The beauty of what we've got national park system. You pay $140 I think a year. No, not been to the US before. 140 for the year, but you can stay in national parks which have toilets, showers, hot water. They supply firewood. You have a little campsite. Some do have power, some don't. But they're very safe, they're maintained, and there is usually a ranger that looks after any of your needs. You don't pay anything. You just pay that once a year, 140. Lots of people travel around, and there is no limit. I think the limit is a month on average, without a law. You know, they say that you've been here a long time, you'll have to move on. Just go down the road to another one. They're always near mountains or rivers. You get them up in the snow.
You have to be 30 kilometres out of the city limits to park on the side of the road
Yeah,
here.
if you've got an RV or a car,
Yeah, or even a car.
you can't. You can sleep on the side of the road. They can't stop you sleeping on the side of the road because we have a law in Australia. If you're tired, pull over and sleep.
But it's got to be 30 kilometres
No,
out
no.
of town.
But if you just say I'm tired, they can't do anything about it. But if you want to get people riled up in country towns, is where you like pull down a creek and just park there for a month. Well, they get the local ranger come out and say, well, if you're going to park here, you need to park in the park. I know it's a bit rough, but that's what they do. But if you're only a few nights here and there, no one cares. You can park down the beach, on the beach, no problem.
Yeah, you can camp on the beach, certain areas for that period of time.
Most of the law is if you just throw a fishing line out, not even with any bait on, not even a hook. But if someone comes and says, what are you doing? So, oh, just wake me up, I'm fishing. You've got a hand line near you. They can't move you. Cannot do anything about it.
But we had a tragedy this long weekend.
Someone had a gas fridge and foolishly put it in a tent. And sadly, the father and the son passed away, and the mother's very, very ill in hospital. Stuff happens. Like people take kerosene heaters into sheds and go to sleep and never wake up. That happens. It happened a lot in Europe, I'd reckon, as well.
That's why I'm so fussy with this little gas burner we use, where we use it. If it's not
Can't die.
open,
Yeah, but you can't die from that gas.
I don't care. Rather be safe. I've got to go lay down.
Yep, we're going to go to bed shortly. But at least the sound works on my YouTube, which is good. Because he dug around today with a little pin. It was like belly button flint came out. Which is probably the months and months of sanding that I was doing.
just thinking, it's no wonder. You took your phone with you down there and that.
We go to the big city every now and then. It's only over there by, what, it take 11 minutes to get in there? Not long. Is the time issue sorted? No, see, I'm using YouTube to do this hangout, whereas I'd be using Streamlabs. I didn't use YouTube because there was that big shh noise.
Constantly through the whole
Yeah,
hangout.
but now it's fixed.
But
I asked Adam earlier if the sound was okay, and he said it was good. Yeah, you can't mess around. You can't mess around with carbon monoxide. It's a silent killer.
But the Streamlabs side of it, he will test that when I've got his new phone set up. I think there's a couple of apps and the sound issue, it's just interfering.
If we put it on
with
the new phone and it plays up, we know it's Streamlabs.
Yeah.
That's what it'll boil down to. But I can now use YouTube.
But regardless, his phone had it checked anyway, and then now we've got new ones, so...
And we got something else we can't tell about. It's a secret.
Oh, Danny.
But you can't hear me, so it doesn't really matter. It's a secret.
I haven't.
I'll take a bit later today. I'm able to talk better than type. Right. Good morning, VMAC.
Hey,
Welcome
VMAC.
to the YouTube channel where you can actually hear me instead of the shh. The cult leader, VMAC.
Huh?
The cult leader.
Yeah, Colt VMAC. I'm just waiting for my paperwork to sign up.
The Don VMAC. Da, 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 da. VMAC walks into the Italian restaurant. and orders a carrot. Da 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 da
Had to send a
da
text
da
or so.
da da da. Didn't get a notification. Yeah, that happens. Da 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 da.
So have any of you, well, those who've got kids and grandkids, have you heard of the show Operation Ouch?
Just see Van Max sitting around a table, dim lights, big cigar in the mouth.
Yeah.
We got to take out the Gambinos. They're growing too much vegetable. I'm trying to corner the market. We'll have to get rid of them. Louis, Huey, and Dewey, go get the job done. No, never.
Okay. It's basically aimed
It's a
at
kid show.
kids. I
Yeah.
went there tonight with the daughter and grandson. That's why I'm so sitting there quiet, so tired, not on chat.
Oh, I think walking around the city made us tired.
Yeah, and then I went out again. And I only had 2 coffees. That didn't help.
Did we have a coffee when we were out?
No.
No, we had cold drinks, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because it was hot.
So,
Yeah, I wonder how VMAC would have gone walking around with us today in 38-degree heat. How you going there, VMAC, all right? Have to put you under a tree, pour water over you. You saw the tourists today. They were like hiding in the shade. It's pretty obvious to pick people that weren't from our country. You don't have to worry about sharks. You'd have to get a lot of slip, slop and slap though before you went out in our sun, VMAC. Your delicate white skin would be fiercely attacked by the UVs. See, I know, I'll give you an idea, VMAC. Just go and look at your UV rating for today. Tell me what it comes up with. Hello, Mark. It is about 9 here now. I'll tell you in a sec, Mark.
Feels like midnight. Oh, it's 10 o'clock, no wonder.
10 o'clock.
Did you have your eggs this morning, Buttercup? And VMAX porridge?
Yes, you'd certainly have to cover up here. Well, even in winter we get 7 and 8s, VMAC. This time of year it can be 15s and 16s. It's unrelenting. If you're smart, and we had to go and do what we did during the day today, but normally we wouldn't do it. We go really early or we go really late. Anything before 9 o'clock, you're only going to get a UV of about 4 or 5, and about 4 o'clock in the afternoon about the same. Toasted malted roll cup of tea.
Oh, toasted malted roll. I have never heard of that.
It's like a brownie type roll, like a sweet roll. Bit like a buttercup, bit like a hot cross bun, but not a hot cross bun. We'll sleep well tonight, for sure.
I walked 3 kilometres.
A bowl of shreddies, shredded wheat. Shreddies, when I was a kid, were about 3 inches long by about an inch and a bit thick, and they were sort of, you could puff them, close them, and then you just cover them in milk. Yum. Had seeds in it. Kind of yummy, had seeds in it. Probably poppy seed, maybe. It's all different names for all different similar foods around the globe, though.
It's getting uncomfortable now.
I hate shreddies, not the bigger shredded wheat.
You like that stuff?
Yeah, I do.
I just mainly like porridge. If I have stuff like that for breakfast, cereal, I eat it in the afternoon.
Mate of mine just used to have oats with milk with a tiny little bit of sugar. cold. Like,
What?
just poured straight in. And I tried it once. It's like, you do a lot of chewing, trust me. But he swore by it. I said, good roughish. But Danny G's my kind of girl when it comes to breakfast. Every morning it's bacon and eggs. It's like she's died and gone to heaven. Every morning it's bacon and eggs. No, I've tried them. I don't like them.
What's that?
Grape nuts. When they're dried, they're pretty good, but crunchy.
Couldn't
Ah,
read
the
that.
rum. That's a VMAX, a rum girl. A little Jamaican girl. So what wars have been occurring today? Who's attacking who? And why? Well, the why is it doesn't matter. Hello. I can't wake up. I'm trying to wake up. I can hear voices, Mark says, but I don't know where the phone's gone. I've dropped it. Dems Repubs. It's probably the least talked about thing in Australia, politics. No one says they're red, no one says they're blue. Everyone will bitch about the government in power at the time. Whether they voted for them or not is irrelevant. No one asks who you vote for here. If you walk to the paper and say, do you vote for the Democrats or the Republicans? The guy would say, piss off, mate. Oh, the war. Yes, the war. The fictitious war of red and blue.
This doesn't have how long you've been on, does it?
Yep, top left-hand corner next to live says 52 minutes. So on Streamlabs, it'll be dying about now.
Yeah.
Local politics usually doesn't have any interest in Australia. We have a habit of just putting people in for a while and booting them out. We don't like the idea of having people in for a long time because you can't trust them. A bit of fresh blood, they're trying to do the right thing for the first few years, and then they start to be a little bit deceptive and we kick them out. One thing politicians are, and this is a political statement by me, but it's universal. One thing politicians are is they're not living in reality. They've usually been spoon-fed. They're usually failed lawyers. Don't believe me, Google it. Most politicians are lawyers that didn't succeed in being a lawyer. So most of the time they took political science as well in university. So the second option is, I'm not a very good lawyer, but I'll go into politics. Talk mumbo jumbo, confuse the population, promise them everything, and then in the end just do as I please and go on overseas joints, spend a lot of money because I couldn't be a lawyer. Oh yes, nepotism runs deep. You
What?
scratch my back, I'll scratch yours in politics.
It's too long a word to think what that means right now for me. Nepotism.
The thing is, Buttercup, they didn't develop narcissism. They already had it. People sometimes want to be recognised. Sometimes it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. But lots of politicians here have gone to jail for dipping their fingers in things they shouldn't have. We have a local politician at the moment who's in government, Minister of Sport, who by some chance, with 5 gun clubs, she gave $5 million in grants just before the last election. And she happens to be a member of a gun club.
Did she give that much?
What?
Did she give that much?
Well, she just gave grants.
Yeah, I know.
One club she gave 2 grants to. thinking it was one. They went, oops, you've already given us money? The Americans would know it as pork barreling. Yes, they do it here as well.
So she gave to people she shouldn't have given to, or
What of the marginal seats she went to and gave massive sports grants, like stadiums being built and ovals and sporting clubs, and the marginal seat was like, just very fine. Well, they won those seats. People went, oh, that's very generous. Time for a new keyboard.
you got my keyboard again, VMAC.
No, that's Adam.
Oh, Adam.
Was it Adam? It was Adam.
My keyboard's getting shared around again.
Yeah. I used to have a keyboard on one of my old laptops that you couldn't type S, you could type N,
And
an R, so you'd have all these words that people in the end would say, oh, well, yeah, obviously you didn't put an S in front, you didn't put an R on the end. Just would, you know, you bang it, it doesn't do any different. Mind you, on some of my keyboards, there's probably enough food to feed a small West African village. We all eat at the computer. Tell me you don't do it. I don't eat at the computer seats, never have. Chomp, chomp. Yeah, no, that doesn't help coffee. Mind you, would have washed out a lot of the biscuit crumbs, Adam. There's always a bonus. There's always a to and a fro, a for and against. Yes, you got coffee all through the chipboard, but you washed out some of the biscuit crumbs. Computer no longer works, but in these Apple stores, they've got massive Apple monitors. Like, you'd have to spend 20 grand to get one. I'm talking massive. And they actually hold classes for older people. We watched one today, didn't we?
yeah,
Older people trying to work out.
their phones. It was quite good actually.
Oh, and laptops they had.
Yeah.
Just teaching them the basics. For me, there's on and off.
And all free of charge.
Free of charge.
Well, they charge enough for the damn product. They could give you that service.
And they do.
But the guy that helped you today was good. Especially,
Yeah,
I mean, he
fixing
could
this
have
phone
tried
up.
to sell us the bigger phone.
Never tried to sell us at all.
No, but like how he was saying the 8 was still
No, no. This is how I get products. Lady comes up, just opens her mouth about to say something. I said, oh, 2 of them. She went, what? I said, 2 of those. So she's already in a, mode of like, I'm going to sell these people phones. And I just went, nah, 2 of them. We already decided. She went, okay, I'll go and get them. Bit disappointed, I think, wasn't she?
Oh,
She didn't have a
no.
spiel to lay out. The funny thing is, I asked her, because we've got these long charging cables. They're about 1 metre and a bit long. And every time you put them in the end of the phone, they got a little bit of white and they got just a normal cable. They all start to fall apart. Every one we've ever had. And I said, have you got a thicker one? Stronger? She said, we do, but it's not Apple. So I said, so you sell it? She said, yeah. I said, is it cheaper than the Apple product? She said, yeah. But
Oh,
it's
not by much.
but better. She said, yeah. So I said, why doesn't Apple make a better one? She said, I don't know. I missed what somebody said then. No, there was no argument. We always have done this in our lives. We go before we go out. We go, that's what we're going to get. And they go, okay. Well, sure, some people have to be sold to, but we're people that go down to buy. Already pre-picked what we're going to get.
I'm going to go get ready for bed.
Yep, I'm just going to have this one, and I'm going to bed as well.
Hi.
Talk to your people.
I was tired.
Yeah, took the old girl out for a walk today. She's tired now. Get one of them walking frames for you.
I walked about
Wheelchair maybe.
about 6 kilometres today. Thank you very much. I went out
Oh,
again.
no, we did more than that.
Yeah, and then I walked again tonight. I went out again.
Mm.
Left seeds at home to do the washing. I meant to ask you, Seeds, those
Filters you
You
use
use
for your little characters is Snapchat.
Snapchat. Yes, it's
Yes.
Snapchat.
Yep. Just download Snapchat. It's free.
See the bag?
Initially it's confusing, but then you'll get used to it.
The bag. So it's like of chocolate and coffee.
Actually, you've got chocolate in the fridge, you said.
In the bottom of the fridge.
Is it too low for you to reach?
Yeah.
Do you get dizzy and
No.
faint? But it was a good day out. We enjoy going to the city. Probably more when it's cooler. But it was good. We should take him up to Kings Park one day.
Yeah.
No, I don't use Snapchat for talking to anyone. I just use it for making funny videos. I don't use any other format.
Give me your email, VMAC. I'll Snapchat you to death.
She doesn't do Snapchat.
I know, but I can send them to her. Send a few to Buttercup. Have we lost Buttercup? Do we need a welfare check on Buttercup?
She's checking on her bairns, little wee doggies. There's one thing you don't see in the city. Rarely do you see a dog.
There was there's a couple I saw today.
Not many though. Like in the other cities we've been around the world, dogs are
No,
everywhere.
actually, no, I'm thinking of when I went out again tonight. There was people walking their dogs.
Buttercup says she's here.
I'm just checking.
No, but it's one of those things in our cities. Very rarely do you see a dog. Maybe one of them
The
blind
people
dogs,
that,
but
yeah, the people that live around. Yeah, but you love them.
dogs get into routines of sort. Oh, we didn't do much of a video. I don't like walking with a video camera because you
Not for too long, because we
can't
just
help
worry.
but sort of get a bit of a wobble.
Not just
I
that.
I could have taken the stick, but I forgot.
Not just that, but filming too many people, even though everybody else was doing the
Yeah,
same
no,
thing.
I tend not to film people as
But
best I
it's
can.
hard.
Yeah,
It's hard not to get
I'll
them
point
in
the
there.
camera up or at a wall. And it's funny when you first walk into London Court off Hay Street. First 4 or 5 shops, there's either jewellers or people selling Ugg boots or big, thick sheep coats. And I'm thinking, I bet they're very quiet in sales.
Yeah, but that's their permanent shop.
Yeah, oh, a lot of tourists buy stuff through there. It does look like some place that Hogwarts would have visited from time to time. Harry, are you there, Harry? Yeah, selfie stick gives you a better film, and I just didn't take it today. Yeah, you'll find, like I say, each city you'll ever go to is different. Ugg boots here, some of those boots were $250, $300 a pair. They're well made though. It's an actual company in Australia called Ugg. They've been around for over 100 years. And I'd never wear one of them jackets, even in the snow. You would just sweat to death.
I'd need
It's
it.
about 3 inches thick of wool. Too hot for me. In the snow, I'd wear a t-shirt, a jumper, and some sort of raincoat over the top if it was windy. But not a real big, thick sheep coat.
It's going.
We have a very good climate to wear them, VMAC. I like Ugg slippers, where you just can kick them on and kick them off.
You got a good pair for Father's Day.
Mm.
They were proper from the Ugg boot store.
Well, this is better than Streamlabs. I've been going for 66 minutes and I can still see the chat.
Yeah, it's just doesn't stay there for you to read it though.
Oh, but you can stop, pause it,
Yeah, I didn't realise
pull
that.
it back. So we might be able to sleep in tomorrow because I don't think we've got anyone coming.
Oh, whether they come or not, it's wash hair day.
Yes. Might have to do a video, shave off my beard. What do you think? Send it over to VMAX and make a pair of Ugg boots out of it.
I think you better do a vote on that. I miss that.
VMAX says, don't get me wrong, Buttercup, I have shoes and boots. They are all about the style, the comfort be damned. So you have a high heel pair of Ugg boots, I guess,
I'm for comfort.
painted red.
Better take a vote. I'm shaving your beard off. Why are you going to shave it off?
I don't know, getting a bit woolly.
So?
Normally I only shave it for a different reason, but maybe Buttercup make a pillow out of it for one of the puppy dogs. It's like wool.
I just chuck it in the back lawn. The birds will make a nest out of it.
They do. Whenever I have shaved, I just put it straight on the ground because
The birds.
while I'm shaving, the birds come pick it up. But it's been a good day. We had fun. Got a couple of things we can't mention. We talk very low. No one can hear what we're saying. Yeah, it's a secret. No one will ever know. So on that note,
I'll take my bags to bed. Oh God, don't do that. You scare them.
I can see you, VMAC, wearing your high-heeled Ugg boots and your leotards and a tank top with a headband and shoulder pads on,
That's just scary.
going for a morning run.
Stop it.
Neighbours are pulling down the blinds and saying, she's doing it again. Call the police. Get a welfare check. All right. Have a good night. Good day, wherever you are. And we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.